And now here is our tutorial video for how to draw the letters M, N, O, and E. As usual, we start with the horizon line and the vanishing point. This time, I put my vanishing point significantly farther to the right. You may put your vanishing point anywhere you like on the horizon line. We draw a box to draw our letters inside, and here I'm using my finger to measure. Now, M's and N's are two of the most tricky letters to draw. I always start with the outside. The outside of the M and the outside of the M are simply two vertical bars. Now, to do the interior part of the M, as you can see there, I'm using my finger to measure, and I just drew a dot at approximately the middle of those two bars, vertical bars. Now, you will notice I drew a V, and then I drew a V at the top as well, trying to keep those lines parallel. Now here, when I looked back at my M, I thought, you know what, it needs to be a little thicker, and so I adjusted. Feel free to adjust your M's and your N's and any of your letters as you go along to make sure that they are even and looking good. So at this point, I was satisfied with my M. Now, same thing for the N. When you are drawing an N, once again, make sure that it's approximately the same size. Use your fingers to measure. I'm creating two vertical bars on either side. And then with the N, we're going to draw one single diagonal line, starting at the top of the one bar and going to the bottom of the other. With this N as well, I adjusted it a little bit. I made it a little bit, my angle a little less steep. Use your eye, make adjustments as you deem necessary. So now that I've got my M and my N, my O, I'm going to basically freehand. But once again, I need to measure it, make sure it's about approximately the same size. And I'm just going to make a large circle. Use my finger to measure the 4 points in the center to try and make sure that my O is even all the way around. My P, once again, I want to make it nice and smooth. I want to measure it so it's approximately the same size. Here I just freehand the curve part of the P. And then the interior part of the P, I'm going to line up the inside with the bottom, and then use my finger to measure around. I'll do 3 little points to be my guide inside to make sure that my P is nice and even. At this point, I have now drawn the fronts of all of my letters. Now, this time I decided to erase my extra box lines at this point. This might be nice and clear for you if you erase them, that extra box that we use to fit our letters inside. If you erase that now, we don't want that box to confuse you later. Box has been erased, I can start with my corners. Remember that each corner or side you need to check to make sure if you can see it going to the vanishing point or not. And right now I'm circling the approximate places where I think I'm going to need to check. Draw a line to the vanishing point from each corner as follows. That corner in the V, I'm not going to see because it hits my M right away. Remember, whenever you're drawing the orthogonal line or the line to the vanishing point, as soon as it hits another letter, the face of a letter, stop that line. Never make a line go through your letter. As you can see here, I like to start with all of my tops, just so I get those straight, and then I start digging into the sides of each of those shapes. To make a slight adjustment there. Remember, with something that is curved, you're looking for the edge that hits, not a corner. So the O and the P is not going to be at the exact corner, it's going to be at the edge where my ruler hits. Now I'm labeling the tops of each of my letters so that I can determine now what parts are the sides. Start with my M. And remember, I cut off all my lines, go to the vanishing point, and I'm going to erase all of that extra. Now it's the part, figuring out the sides can be the trickiest part here. So I'm going to start with the sides of my M. This interior section is a side. I'm following that line out to the back, and I've got to adjust that. Remember, whatever it looks like in the front of the letter, it has to be the same at the back of the letter. So if this is a diagonal line, at the back of the letter, I need to have a diagonal line. I know it is a very short little line, but it makes all the difference in one-point perspective here. Check my other corners. That one didn't need it, but the tip of the V does here. You can see it. This corner you can see as well. It's the interior side. That corner, you don't see it hits the letter right away. But this corner over here, you do see. But remember, as soon as you hit another letter, you stop that line. Now on this side, don't forget the top, back. Whatever is on the front face has to match the back. So even though it's such a tiny little line, it's going to make a difference in how you see that one-point perspective. Now we move on to the N. So we already drew the tops of the N. Now let's do the side of that V section in the middle of the N. The front is a diagonal, so the back has to also be a diagonal. So we need to erase those extra little bits. Now let's check our other angles. Can we see them go through? We do this one at the bottom. As soon as you hit a letter, you stop. And now we need to complete that side by matching the front face and the back. So the front shows a vertical line, so the back has to have a vertical line. The last corner that we'll see is this bottom corner. The other two corners there, they're blocked by the letters, so we're not going to see them. Now this O is quite simple. But the front of the O, the front top, is a curve. So we need to match this curve at the back top of that O. With this O, there's no other vertices or corners that you can see. So we are done. It is important to measure the distance back that your letter takes, just in case you need to cut something off on the inside. Now our final P. The P as well is a little bit more simple. Check each of those corners to see if they go back to the vanishing point. If it can go back, draw it in. None of these other corners though go back to the vanishing point. They're all hidden by the face of the letter. So now we just need to match the front of that side to the back side. And the top, I'm just going to angle that slightly over there. Now we have created MNOP in one plane perspective.